30 years, Mr. Aditya Puri strode like a colossus on the Indian banking scene. But since he retired from HDFC Bank in October 2020, we haven't been able to get him on camera. Today, I got some unexpected help from his wife, actually, who has written a delightful book, Adityanama, The Man Behind the Banker. And both Mrs. Anita Smiley Puri and Aditya Puri have been good enough to come over to our studio. This is the first time that the author of the book and the subject of the book have come for an interview, so I am delighted.
Thank you, Lata. Always a pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much for having us.
Okay, well, first, I must tell you that this is a delightful love story. Mrs. Puri, I wanted to ask you, you all met, you as a college student,
Yes.
fell in love, and then it turned out to be arranged because his bua knew your chachi.
Yes.
This is like filmy.
It's really a miracle because I thought, okay, it's just that, one party.
Okay.
And then I, got into my Miranda house, studies, and I didn't think about it. But his, cousin sister who had taken me to the party, he kept asking her, where's that friend of yours? Because I want to marry her.
Okay.
And she said, I've lost track of her. So it was quite a thing when he came to see me, because the Bua and Chachi, sent the proposal to our respective parents.
Yes.
When he came to see me at my sister's home, when the proposal came, he actually just came in, he saw, and he just said, okay, in his mind, but I didn't know.
He didn't ask any questions and
Yes,
you were angry.
he did not even ask me one question. He just saw, okay, this is the same Smiley that I've been searching for. And he just went on to the bar to have a drink.
Okay. Well, let me come back to the story of Mr. Puri's career. Mr. Puri, your story is like, a very amazing tale of climb. You started as a paying guest in a dingy apartment in Mumbai, and where the landlady just gave you half a cup of tea and a biscuit for breakfast. I mean, this is a very big climb. You think this is still possible? What do you owe this dramatic success?
Of course it's possible. I think you need God's grace.
Yeah.
So firstly, Lata, I was from a small town like Chandigarh. And in Chandigarh, if you're reasonably well off, you're a big shot.
Okay.
And there was lots of space, etc. And when I got this job in Mahindra & Mahindra, I thought I'd become a big guy with the sum that was there. When I came here, I realized it was nothing. So and most of us at that time, even the Levers guys, my cousins from Levers, my friends, we were all paying guests in that famous oval, opposite the oval, that whole thing.
Okay.
But mine was a little more down market. I came there later. So yes, it was to the extent that the first time I saw the rush coming out of Churchgate Station, I went back.
Okay.
Now, the fact, however, was that it built a determination that I got to beat this year.
Yes.
I'm not going to. We're not going to sit there. And in fact, I said, because when you come from a small town, you're a member of the club, you're a member of the golf club, you know everybody. Here, I was nobody.
Yes.
But I said, I'm going to do it. And the advice would be only this, that do what you're passionate about, work hard, and also have an emotional coefficient. People only get that. And then nobody can stop you. And especially today.
I'm glad you said emotional coefficient, because Mrs. Puri points out that among your big qualities, best qualities as she calls it, is you're a man with humor and you are a foodie. I'm going to come to the foodie a bit later. But a man of humor, you think that is a very big ingredient in success?
Yes, I think the overall package, you can't be too serious. And also you got to roll, you got to go up and down and roll with the punches. Nobody is going to have a straight climb. So you've got to have that tenacity. And a bit of humor can lighten almost any situation. So I think humor, some empathy, lack of ego. You got to be humble. Your ego will kill you one way or the other.
Okay. Well, actually, she speaks about the fact that you're extremely fair to colleagues, even when you are harsh with them. But Mrs. Puri, one of the nice things, and not many people can do this, you said he never brings his problems home.
Yes.
didn't discuss the tensions.
You know, my father used to come home with a briefcase full of papers from his business and then open it out when he would come and he would be, at
Working.
work. So when I got married, I asked him in the evening when he came back from work, I said, where's your briefcase? Because I was so used to my father.
People
He
carry
said,
home.
what briefcase? Since then, I've never seen even one piece of paper come home or one problem come home. And later on in the day, next day I would get to know that there was a big problem at the bank.
Oh.
But I never got to know.
But you do say that the change to Citibank, there was a lot of think. In fact, in quotes, you say he would ask, Smiley, did we do the right thing? So those were very difficult days, the change from Citi
to the HDFC
HDFC
Bank.
Bank.
Yes, it was, because I was living like a queen in Malaysia. He was CEO there and they would call me Lady Boss.
Okay.
And Lady Boss shouldn't have any problems at all. Whereas here when I came, people didn't even know the name of the bank. And they sort of used to, actually we lost a lot of friends also at that time. Because from being somebody, we were nothing.
Yes.
So it was a big change also in my lifestyle, because it was a large grand home and we had a lot of cars and drivers and all. Whereas here, since the bank was, a newborn baby, so we did have not
Adjusting
many,
to a smaller house.
and not many perquisites as we had.
And not so much help from the organization.
From the organization.
Since it wasn't
Yeah.
set up.
Yeah.
Mr. Puri, the big question really of your career, what made you jump? If you were in such a good position in Citi and you would have risen there as well to the international levels, how did Deepak Parekh convince you? You say he met you in a hotel in Kuala Lumpur.
No, he met me
came
at home.
Yeah.
He came home.
And so, fundamentally, yes, absolutely. John Reed that time had a few of these guys who had Golden Hold Cup. There was Jerry Rao, there was my boss later on, Nanu Pamnani. I was there, who said these are the 50 guys who are going to do it. And I was on the cusp of a... but then we were sometimes thinking whether we want to spend our entire life overseas or we come here. And long back I told Smiley, one day I'll set up a bank in India that India will be proud of. So that was there at the back of my mind. But it was a very tough decision. And then when Deepak came, he said, and the salary he offered means...
was much lower, he said.
I was almost going to fall off the chair. I said, Deepak, are you bloody joking? What are we going to do? Then I also said, look, if I come back, it will be to solve a passion. So, whose bank will it be? How much will you run it and how much? He said, look, you come back and you run it. And I have to say, he never deviated from that. If I needed to do something or if I needed his help, I went to him. But he never once said, you do this or you do that or you do that. Credit to him. And he said, look, come back to the country and do something. And then the clincher actually was my dad.
Okay.
He was not well. And then we said, Papa, come, we'll set up hospital wherever we were. They were talking about Australia or something. And he said, no, I don't want to leave this place. And I want to spend my last days in Smiley's house.
Okay.
I said, Papa, it happens to be my house as well.
Okay.
But that I swelled with pride because it was a hell of a compliment that he sees it as his daughter-in-law's house. And then I went to Smiley and I said, look, Smiley, what should I do? So she says, if something happens to Papa, can you spend the balance of your life?
Yeah.
I said, no. And then we were here.
So it was an emotional as well as an intellectual choice.
Absolutely.
To set up a bank, your own passion, as well as family issues. Okay, aside from HDFC Bank itself, did you get irritated with any qualities? I mean, chapter after chapter, you speak well of him.
No,
I mean,
naturally.
that's a little difficult. I mean, did he put wet towels on the bed or, disturb
Yeah,
the...
I'm a nice person.
Nice person with gloves.
No, it's natural to have a little bit of irritation. He's human after all. But the wet towel didn't, happen. But, whenever I was in company and I would be talking to my friends, he would get something in his mind which was very important at that time, which he wanted to say, but he didn't have the patience to wait for me to finish, and he would interrupt me, and this really irritated me, and I would say, hello, I'm speaking, you know.
Just take over the conversation.
And the second thing that really bothered me was his dress sense. Oh my God. And it still hasn't improved. We've married 45
How
years.
did I get the GQ award then? I got GQ award.
You got, but maybe that's...
That was for
That's for bad
business.
dressing.
Business.
I'm getting to the next set of my pile of questions.
Sure.
For that, we have to take a break. Back in a jiffy with more interesting questions for Aditya Puri and Anita Puri.
इस बार टाटा आईपीएल जियो सिनेमा पे किसी भी स्क्रीन पे वो भी फ्री। चल भैया।
Welcome back to this very interesting conversation with Aditya Puri and Mrs. Anita Smiley Puri, who has just authored a book on the man behind the banker, Adityanama. Mrs. Puri, you've written, and we discussed that, he never brought his problems home.
Never brought
But after retirement, there was this big merger announcement, HDFC getting merged into HDFC Bank. Did you see any exchange of expression in his face?
No, I could
Worried,
see,
unhappy,
No, I
happy?
could see that he's really moved on, because emotionally, physically, and even mentally, I could see he was absolutely the same person. No, frowns on his
Wonderful.
face.
And no expression, no giveaway.
No expression, and he was absolutely as though it didn't bother him at all, and he had really moved on.
Okay. Would it have bothered you, the merger? What's your reaction? We never got to hear that.
Oh, no, I don't think it would have bothered me. As long as it was done in the best interest. See, remember, a lot of people made a lot of noise about it. And in your interviews with you, Lata, I always said whenever it makes sense, we would go ahead and do it. I think they all sat together, and at this point in time, it probably made sense. Okay. And there are enough good minds at it. And I'm past.
If you were there, would you have resisted, is my question, actually.
If it was good for the bank, I would not. If it wasn't, I would.
You're still not answering.
Because I don't know. I don't know the basis of the merger.
Okay.
So how can I comment? Be unfair.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll let you escape with that.
Good.
Mr. Puri, if you recall, what was the most challenging moment for you when you were running the bank?
See, as she rightly says, a lot of the moments were challenging. In the sense, first we had to set it up. Then we had to see if we need to expand and become large, how we need to change our business. Then we had to see the geographical. Each time it was like almost setting up a new bank, and then constant change in technology. And if you notice during the times that you interview, we wanted to be ahead of the curve. We didn't want to be a leader. So being the first also entails risk.
Mrs. Puri has even put a quote over there, and the quote will run. You say, why are there brakes in a car? And the surprising answer you come up with is so that you can run in full speed.
Yeah.
Your point being that I have put risk measures, and so that I can go at full speed. But at some point, did the bank go more than
No,
the brakes
absolutely.
allowed?
No.
Because, 2 years ago...
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'm
glitches.
quite happy to discuss that. When I said the measure, if you see the bank, and I'm very proud of that, the bank has the systems and procedures that it runs by. Most people give me credit, but actually it's the whole team that put in and who would give the life for the bank and me.
Yes.
And we never had a credit issue. We never had a people issue.
No.
Technology was also not running too fast. We had the best guys. We had IBM, we had Cisco, we had TCS, everything. And they were all saying good, and they had tested it out.
Yes.
I think they got a bit too ambitious, but that was not with my sanction.
Okay.
Happens.
Okay. Mrs. Puri, did you get help in raising the children from him?
Yes and no. When he was home, he was hands-on.
Okay, let me speak of the one challenge that you speak about in the book. How did he react when your daughter joined films? Did that upset him?
Yeah, he didn't know what had hit him.
Okay.
Because he had told her to become a copywriter in O&M.
Mass communication, okay.
Yes. He was very keen.
And she was good at it.
And she was good at it.
Ranjan Kapoor told me she's very good.
Okay.
So he was actually shocked. He said, now where did this come from? You know, because I am absolutely camera shy.
Okay.
And he's from a banking background, and his, grandfather was a lawyer, and his father was in Air Force. So at first we didn't know this industry at all. So that's why, because it was unknown waters.
Fair enough, absolutely.
And it's not structured.
Yeah.
I said, look, you'll have to go through ups and downs. And then she said, you know, Pop, I'm sparing you, but half the time when you put me through mass communications, and then I was going to send her overseas for journalism, you made me believe that it was my decision. And actually only in afterthought I realized it's mine. And now I want my own.
Her decision. Okay, good. But then there was full support afterwards from the family.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Puri, I wanted to ask you, get you to the modern day as well. The world is facing a lot of banking issues. What are we getting right? Do you think we are getting things right in India?
I love this, because I sent a note to some of my fellows overseas. I think, people feel they have the liberty to take a pot shot at India anytime they want. But people in glass houses should look first inside.
Yes.
Now, if you see these collapses, and if you see also what the banking systems overseas look like, we look like a Garden of Eden.
Absolutely.
Take this SVB, take the other collapse, take Credit Suisse. Our regulators, and full credit to the RBI for this, we have asset liability management, we have portfolio management, we have deposit disparity, we have market risk, we have reputational risk, we have technology. I think we do a damn good job, and the rest should learn from us rather than lecturing us.
Okay. Oh, absolutely.
And I also believe that the Sone Ki Chidiya is coming back.
Okay. So you think that we have the best days for India ahead?
Absolutely. Sone Ki Chidiya coming back. They now won full round.
Okay. Mrs. Puri, speaking about retirement, did it bug you? What is his day like now? Are you happy with his retirement?
Yes, absolutely. Can I read a little... It's the conclusion, which I think would really answer your question well. And Aditya has smoothly moved on to the next chapter of his life, and I'm so happy to see him passionately pursue his dreams of providing quality, affordable healthcare across the length and breadth of the company, providing credit to the underprivileged and democratizing the benefits of technology to reduce disparity and environment protection.
Okay, so he's doing a lot of NGO work.
Yes.
Mr.
It's
Puri,
his passion.
Is it only NGO work? You're not getting into active corporate life at all? Board of directors, chairman?
Board of directors, chairman actually can't make much of a difference.
Well, but in PNB they wanted you, PNB Housing, right?
No, PNB Housing I was ready to go with certain conditions.
Okay.
That if they were willing to bring a large amount of money, then I saw the opportunity of really revolutionizing the whole thing by having a cloud-based, API, platform-based technology, by having different credit systems, by having different distribution channels, by making sure that the length and the breadth got it all right. And they were also talking about putting in the requisite procedures so that the company itself would change. I was excited. I thought it was going to come. I was not involved in the pricing and all those decisions and the balance. It didn't happen. It didn't.
Okay. But don't we see you in an active role, driving a company?
If I find something like, take Farm Easy, I am actively involved. So just like banking needed to go into the interior, we need to get quality healthcare and medicines to the interior. You drive, wherever you go to your hometown, you drive 200 or 100 kilometers, then you see this doctor, you don't even know whether he is a doctor. You have a compounder sitting next to him. Everything is this white grind that is given to you in the packet. I do want to bring quality healthcare to all of India at a cheaper price, delivered to the doorstep. That would include medicines, orthopedics, doctor on call. And I'm very passionate about that. I want to, and we are working, a couple of us are working together, the Mahindras, us, Bombay Port Trust, the government, HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, to make your life more livable. And I think we will be able to come out with something soon.
Oh, this is very interesting. Mr. Puri, then I want answers to two questions from you.
Now the difficult ones come. Bolo.
When is your book coming?
No book.
Okay. All right. So when
I didn't even want this to come.
I know she keeps saying that
But
she had to keep it a secret from you.
After 45 years, you know when you better not argue.
Okay, I'm not so
Get
sure.
at it for a long time, yeah.
Okay. All right. And when do we see you actively jump into some company? You said that, it may be in pharma, it may be in medical,
maybe in pharma,
healthcare.
it could be. If there was something where I could eliminate the money lender, I'd do that.
Okay, then that is finance and pharma.
And pharma, and because you must understand, Lata, I think Prime Minister Modi has been saying this for quite some time. 60% of India still lives in semi-urban and rural India. They've taken roads, electricity, digital, all of it there. And now we have the opportunity to be able to take finance and thereby take them out of the money lending business. I think that is something that must be done. And if you give them finance, I think it will create another India.
Maybe that's possible now because of digitization,
Exactly.
digitalization,
Yeah.
UPI, ONDs.
And they're very hardworking people. We were talking just before you go in there, look at the activity. They need the support. They need the electricity, water, this, that they've got. Now they need financing and they also need some support. And I think the government is firmly focused on that. And if I got something there, I'd be there.
Okay, that's great to hear. Anita Smiley Puri, Aditya Puri, thank you very much for joining us in this delightful conversation. And we've got two big takeaways. Mr. Aditya Puri is not writing a book, but don't be surprised if you see him take active participation and come with a company in finance, in pharmaceuticals. We'll wait and see. Pleasure speaking to both of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks a lot, Lata. That was very nice. Thank you so much.